Okay, let's do the intro. You wanted to do... You wanted to do the intro where, I call you a white man, yes?
Yeah, I wanted to...
Okay, I'm gonna introduce the podcast and then give you leeway to introduce yourself.
Yes, I want the intro where you call me a white man in reference to Persona 4 Arena.
Okay. Hello, and welcome to DigiDate, a visual novel podcast. Fuck!
Did you forget what we do?
I forgot my whole thing. Okay, wait. Hello, and welcome to DigiDate, a visual novel podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Obey Me, which is a game.
It is certainly a game. My name is Milo.
Ah, a white guy!
There's a good reason that we are not, like, theater majors. That was the, we have you know that good poll for Persona 4 Arena? Did you get it, audience?
You get it, audience? Do you understand?
Do you see our fun reference? Anyway, we played Obey Me for 2 weeks, give or take. I'd say 2 weeks is generous.
2 weeks is very generous. You may remember from our last episode that we were saying we were going to play this for 1 week, but then we opened the game.
Yeah, we opened the game, and the first thing is that I was really expecting this to be incredibly low quality because the game is named Obey Me.
Yeah.
Which is a dumb name that tells me that it's not going to be serious, and it's not, but you know what I mean.
I expected incredible low quality. I was expecting just a fun, silly, possibly problematic dating sim, and then I went in there and I had all those things, but also, oh my god, this is not a dating sim.
It is not. We were in the middle of playing it, and like halfway through I googled the name of the game, and one of the questions was like someone asking like, Obey Me isn't an Otome game, and I was like, well, what the fuck am I here for?
What are we here for? And so, to answer the question, you're here for the boys, but you're also here for... I've put some of these things on my list. So many fucking things. It has a gacha game, a not rhythm game, where it's a dance battle that I thought was a rhythm game for a little while, but it wasn't, but it maybe was, I don't know.
No, it's just tapping, you just tap.
It's a tapping game, it's a little tap-tap game.
It's so... oh my god, okay. We were both pleasantly surprised at first, and then the first thing that happens is you get in this fucking cutscene, and there's an OP, there's like an animated opening video, which is incredibly high quality, and kind of amped us up, I think, when we first watched it. And then whenever we actually get to the game, we were struck by this incredible feeling, which lingered for the 2 or so weeks we played the game, of there's too much shit in this game, and none of it is fulfilling.
So, alright, to start off, Obey Me is much more high quality than you think it is going to be. The game itself has an OP, has an anime OP with like a theme song and everything, which I know that Mystic Messenger had that, but Mystic Messenger's OPs are like, you know, within the mechanics of the game, they give some motion to the sprites. This one's just fully animated and fucking insane.
It is, and it also, yeah, because, like, Miss Me's OP 100% feels like it is also telling the, like, plot of the game and sort of the mechanics of the game, and you really only see a bit of the actual mechanics of the game in, like, one section of it, which is where they showed the text messages.
Yes, there are text messages and phone calls in this game, a la Miss Me, but unfortunately, all of these things lead to nothing and nowhere.
Yeah, there were no endings. There were no character endings.
There are no character endings. There are events, and I assume in those events you learn more. Maybe if we played the game for longer and we had more dedication, you know, we would have learned more. But as far as it goes, we were doing this for a podcast.
Well, I did finish. They had an event, and they had a Cinderella event.
Did you do the Cinderella event?
Yeah, I finished that event. And my review of it is that it was funny, as like the ideas in it were funny, but it is just sort of the game is not a visual novel, to the point of where I was playing that Cinderella stuff just that way I would be able to level up enough so I wouldn't have to play the tapping minigames in the main edition of the game.
And now we're talking about the tapping minigames. So this is a fun little highlight. Some exclusive
of our argument. Of our playstyles?
Yeah, of our playstyles. So, for some exclusive information on Milo and I, as we play visual novels, I saw the tapping mini game and I was surprised, but I did it. And the reason I did it is because I gain a disproportionate amount of enjoyment out of anything vaguely puzzle game-like in a dating sim.
Yes, Nellsie loves puzzle games. Nelsie's the person who will sit there and play the fucking moving block game for 20 billion hours. I go into visual novels, I want the story, I want the meat and potatoes, I want that shit. I'm the person who watches cutscenes for video games on YouTube. I'm that person.
You are, and I love you for it. I remember that when we were first beginning to play the game, Milo asked me what level I had gotten on. Because there are levels in this game. You level up in order to get better at the tapping minigame.
Yes.
And I had gone back to do, like, hard mode levels at this point so I could level up. I was this invested in this fucking...
And every time Nellsie did a fucking puzzle game, Nellsie got 3 stars.
I
did
got
not progress
3 stars.
unless he got 3 stars, and I was gonna lose my mind. Don't tell them what level you were on, Nellsie.
So when Milo was on level 4, I was on level 8.
Yeah, no. You were on, like, level 12.
Was I? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was on level 6. And I thought I was gonna lose my mind.
I was having fun.
I hated the mini games in this. Okay, I just fucking despised it. Because it's like, that's the main thing. To get to story beats in this game, you have to play this fucking tapping mini game. And I just wanted the story. I thought, this is before I dimly thought that there would be endings to this game. I wanted to get to the end. And I hate the tapping mini games.
And it's okay. I love you and I understand you. I played the tapping mini games and I was going bonkers insane. I was on the tapping mini games, and the way I derive enjoyment out of this is by going into it ruthlessly perfectionistly.
Yeah, you would get 3 stars and everything. You would not progress unless you got 3 stars.
Yeah, I would go back to levels that I would get 1 or 2 stars on after I leveled up enough so I could get 3 stars on them. And the benefits of getting 3 stars on these levels is that occasionally it will let you branch into a different story mode when you're in the hard mode, because there are two different methods of playing the game, essentially. After you go through one chapter of the story mode, you then unlock the hard mode, which is just the tapping minigame.
It's just a tapping minigame. The hard modes are 100% just to grind. You can level grind in this game.
You can level grind in this game, and level grind I did. It will increase your intimacy level because you have a certain intimacy level with every character.
God. You get these surprise guest things, which is where, like, if you do really good in the minigames, then you just get essentially the sprite of the character standing there, and you can do a variety of things, like pet his hair, and tap him, and they have a bunch of items.
Yeah. So, my team consisted of a Mammon card. Oh, we'll get into the cards of this game. Did you think we were done?
We haven't even talked about the plot, really. Or, like, the one sentence of what the plot is.
The plot. So, my team consisted of Mammon, who is the greed boy.
Yes.
Leviathan, who is my boy, the one that I liked.
The one that you liked. I also liked him, but I didn't like him as much.
Yeah. Motherfucker.
Beelzebub?
Beelzebub, yeah. So,
yeah.
The hungry man. And so I would get one of those 3 as my special guest every time. And so essentially what it is just petting an anime boy uncomfortably until he leaves.
Essentially! Oh my god. We started talking about the idea of, because they're all brothers, quote unquote, of the idea of someone seeing, like, you do this fucking dancing thing or whatever, and then someone runs up to, like, they're like, high five! And then you high five them, and then you just pet their brother's fucking hair, and you have to watch it.
Yeah.
As a third-party observer.
Listener, imagine for a moment that you are... that you are Leviathan, and you are a sad recluse whose only haven is anime girls. And as you are looking down at your Nintendo Switch after a hard day of dance battling, you turn over to see your brother, Mammon, shamelessly getting pet on the head by a person, a human being.
Like a dog, and blushing.
And
it's the worst.
It's funny as well because of the things they'll say after you do it, because you'll pet them and they'll go, did you think I like that? No, don't stop!
Oh god. Okay, wait. To get into the plot, because we hit the gas way too hard without explaining what the basic plot was.
There's a lot in this game.
So the basic plot is that you are a human in a devil exchange program.
Yeah, you've been kidnapped.
Yeah, you've been kidnapped, and you're brought here, and you're supposed to do tasks, and it's kind of showing, like, can a human withstand devil shit? It's stupid. Basically, you're there, you're at this, I'm going to say it's a college, because if it's not a college, fucked. I'm going to say it's a college. Mm-hmm. At this college, essentially, to do human devil tasks, you're human in this devil school, you're the only one, besides, like, one other one who's also a magic user. The only one who doesn't have magic. And there's 7 brothers, and we can kind of go into our feelings for them. I'm going to say a name, and I'm going to say what they are, then we can talk about them. Okay? Mm-hmm. So, first off, Lucifer, who's Pride.
Annoying.
They're all the 7 sins. I hate Lucifer, because he makes me uncomfortable. He's like an older, he's like your teacher, essentially.
He is.
And I don't like the vibes.
His vibes are rancid, because I think he's boring.
Yeah.
This game will introduce Lucifer to me, and they'll be like, he's like the older brother, he's the oldest brother, and they all respect him, except they don't, and he doesn't respect them either, and I'm just like, okay, but what's his, like, thing? His gimmick?
Yeah.
And he doesn't have
anything?
one.
His gimmick is that you're supposed to think he's sexy, which I don't, is the problem.
I
don't think he's sexy, I'm sorry. The game wants me to think he's attractive so bad, and I think he's okay, but I don't give a shit. Okay. How about, I don't know how to fucking say this. Asmodeus? Lust?
Oh, I always say Asmodeus.
Asmodeus?
Yeah. He's horny. That's what I can say about him.
He is horny.
His redeeming qualities are that he's horny.
He's horny. Yeah, we didn't see much of him because where we are in the game, it's very... They want to keep you strung along for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So they introduce characters really slowly.
Yeah, where we are in the game, we know that Asmodeus exists. He's a little flirty. I know that he loves butts.
Yeah, he likes ass, because that's a secret thing you can get.
He's an ass man.
He's an ass man. And then there's Beelzebub, who is gluttony, because each one represents the 7 sins.
Yes. Beelzebub is... I don't mind him.
Hungry.
I was curious about him. The fact that he's ripped was something that was funny to me. The fact that the brothers just talk about how ripped he is and huge.
Yeah, there's like a text message conversation where like the brothers, Mammon takes a picture of his brother's abs.
You know, as you do.
As you do, and sends it to the group chat with the other brothers, and it's just like, okay, alright.
Alright, bud. Thanks.
Beelzebub is very much like, if there was a comic relief character in this, it is Beelzebub.
Yeah.
But he's a comic relief character in that he's just hungry. He's just hungry.
Yeah.
All he talks about is that he wants to eat food. It's very, like, nothing.
It's very odd. I've gotten him as a secret guest a couple of times because he was on my team. And when I got him as a secret guest, you can pet his stomach.
What?
You can pet his stomach. If you go for the lower part of the chest, I think that's his stomach. And you do that.
Does he like that?
He's a fan of it most of the time. Sometimes he can be kind of fickle, so it was hard for me to figure out.
I feel like we're in a confessional booth right now.
I do, yeah.
The idea of petting these anime boys is so, it feels like I'm letting it out into open air feels like it's a crime. Okay, to get onto it, then next is Mammon.
Okay.
Who is greed.
So, yeah, Mammon's whole thing seems to be that the other brothers just hate him.
They fucking hate him. Like, he speaks. The first time you see Mammon, it's everybody going, we fucking hate Mammon. And then it's like, it's a little sus, if I can say.
It's like our hatred for V. That's the hatred they have for him. It's such an intense and passionate hatred.
Yeah, because it's like, the thing with Mammon, Mammon is like, what the fuck, I don't remember what you call it. He's like a tsundere, or whatever the fuck.
What my favorite trait that you have, Milo, is just forgetting anime terms that I remember against
you know them, but I've heard them mostly, I've had to be reminded of them from you. And then I have to remember you telling me about them.
Yeah. Mammon is a tsundere.
Oh, I said that way wrong.
I mean, there are debates on how you can say it, don't worry. But he's kind of hostile towards you at first, but he has moments of warmth, particularly when you show him affection. Yeah. And it's supposed to be a whole thing.
Yeah, and he's the most interesting to me because whenever a character, the first thing you see of them is that everybody fucking hates them. Not, like, outside of the game, I mean in the game. My brain's like, I want to know, like, why? Because this is not like it's a villain. Mammon is not a villain.
No, he is not. And a lot of times, so what it seems to be is that he's very cheap and very money obsessed, and his brothers are not fans. And
no.
That's his whole thing. He's also a fan of big, extravagant lies.
He is. He's a big fan. What was that? There was like this little side thing in the hard mode.
Yeah.
Where you ask him... You go, Nellsie. You remember.
So there's a side story in the hard mode where you will ask him why he cares so much about money because he unfreezes his credit card. His credit card has been literally frozen by his older brother. And he unfreezes his credit card. He's like, oh, I'm so glad to have my credit card. And you're like, why is the credit card so important to you? And then he's just like, do you think I use my money to buy the latest gadgets? All right. I use my money so that I can help a girl dying of illness.
Yeah! He's like, you thought wrong about me. Actually, I'm a good person.
I'm a good person. And I was like, oh, that's a little on the nose, but that's like a compelling thing about him. And then immediately one of his brothers entered the conversation and was like, that's a lie, you idiot.
That's a lie. He's like, there's a bunch of witches who are using him, like, to just sponge money out of him.
They're using him as a pay pig, and it's just...
Yeah, and I like Mammon in terms of, he has this scene where you're watching movies together, and he's being, like, really emotional about the movies. And I don't know, he's fine. I am also just a big fan of a lot of these visual novels where there's just a character who really likes you immediately. I'm like, yeah, I vibe.
I'm a really big fan of those characters when they aren't zen.
They aren't Zen Mystic Messenger who's horny. Okay.
Zen Mystic Messenger. This is the embargo on Mystic Messenger for the rest of the podcast now.
We've used up our 3.
We've used up our 3 Mystic Messenger references, and now we can only talk about Obey Me.
No, we're not. We're not only talking about Obey Me forever, but... okay, the next one, I'm gonna save the one that you'd like to last. I think we'll have more to say.
Okay.
But the next 2 are ones that we also don't know much about. Okay, well, how about Satan? Satan is wrath.
He's a guy.
Nothing. He's there.
He's a dude. He has the least interesting design of everybody in the game.
He does.
He's a guy.
I don't know how he's wrath, is the thing.
I'm sure that's something you learn later in the game, but it's like, I don't know it yet, and I don't care, really, because he's
so boring.
He's just a dude.
He's so boring. Okay, the next... I did get to this one. I don't know if you got as far as I did. Belphegor?
I did not get to Belphegor, but what's he like? What's he up to?
Okay, the first time you meet him, there's this whole plot point about how Lucifer won't let you at the top of the stairs.
Yes, I remember this.
Yeah. So whenever you finally get to the top of the stairs, you see Belphegor up there, and Belphegor bold-faced lies to you and says that she's a human who's been trapped here, and to go get packed with all the demons. And then you go talk to Beelzebub, and Beelzebub's like, I miss my brother. Well, there's a whole side thing of Mammon and you go steal food from the kitchen. Beelzebub sees that you're stealing his food, and he fucking decks your room? He breaks your room. You can't sleep there anymore because he punched a hole in the wall. Which is a plot point. Like, but anyway. So then Beelzebub's like, I miss my brother. My brother is a demon who is in a human exchange program. So he was going to go up to the Earth. But then you look at a picture of his brother, and then that whole lie plot point's just kind of thrown out the window because you find out it's Belphegor. You go back to him, and you say, why'd you lie to me? And he goes, I just did. Just thought it'd be funny, I guess. I don't really know why I lied to you, but then he said, oh no, but I am trapped here because I got in an argument with Lucifer, and it was a misunderstanding, and he's upset at me, so he won't let me go see my brothers, and I'm trapped in the attic. That's it.
He's just trapped there?
He's just trapped in the attic, and honestly, I don't know if I believe that either. But he lives up there. He's just like fucking up in the walls. I don't know.
He's a creature, little 5'8" mousy boy living in the walls.
I don't know why he lives in. I don't know why he lives in the attic. Well, I do, but like, they're just such a weird.
It's so he can take a little nap.
I get probably. That's probably what it really is. But it was just an odd ass, and I didn't finish it because I was like, okay, I'm just not giving a shit. I don't give a shit. You already lied to me. I do not care. But that's him. Anyway, the last one is the one that you like, which is Leviathan.
That's Leviathan, my boy.
He's Envy.
So, Leviathan is Envy, and I like the way that they approach that by making him into an obnoxious gamer boy who doesn't respect anyone. Leviathan has the funniest dialogue I've ever seen in, like, any sort of phone dating sim.
Yeah.
It's so much of Leviathan's humor convinced me that the localization for this game was really on point, because there are points where he'll call you a normie. After he wins dancing games, he'll say, epic win!
Yeah, he says, like, epic win. I'm trying to see if I can find any of the screenshots of us screenshotting his stupid-ass dialogue, because it's so funny.
Oh my goodness, I love it so much. And he's also, like Mammon, he has these tsundere moments where it's like, he's very cold at first, but also after the dancing games when you get to pet him.
Yeah, you get to pet him.
You get to pet him, and like, after you pet him, you give him games and stuff. He's very nice. He's a very nice boy. I set him as my phone background in the game, not in real life. Please, no.
No. And yeah, he says like, hey, quit it. Many people touching me unless they're two-dimensional.
He's so obsessed with anime babes.
Midnight, that's when the otakus come out.
It's so funny. It's insane. He's super hyperfixated on this book series called The Seven Lords, which is just a parallel to his situation with his brothers. He will info dump to you the entire plot of the series.
That's not a joke. We're not, like, joking that he info dumps to you. You have, like, 6 or 7 text boxes of him explaining the plot to you.
In huge paragraphs. And you can't just, like, scroll through them and forget them, because they come up later and they will ask you trivia about
you have to
the stupid books he's into.
I love, if this game was better, this game had endings, I would be so down with that, because it's so funny and stupid.
Would you like me to read you some Leviathan quotes?
I would.
Why do you think I did it? Isn't it obvious? Imagine what would happen if someone saw me inviting you into my room. A human who doesn't even look like an otaku, but a normie.
That normie! I was trying to be nice to him, and every time you're like, oh, I like that interest, he's like, no you don't, you're lying to me, and I'm like, okay.
I had slightly more success with Leviathan because my whole thing was just being grievously indifferent to him.
Yeah, if you're indifferent to him, he's very much, like, very cool with it. Yeah, he also has secret phrases and shit to get into his room, and I had to screenshot, because there's this point where you're trying to get, the whole thing is that you want to get packs with each one of these demons, which is essentially just, like, I don't really know what what is good for them in having a pact, but, and there's a point where you watch these movies that are Leviathan's favorite, and I had to screenshot every time they talked about it, because they pop quiz you.
I lose my mind thinking about this. There were points where the game did make me laugh, just because, and specifically because of Leviathan. This does not bode well for my reputation within this podcast, since my favorite character from our last dating sim was also the token gamer boy.
Yeah, that's a good point! That's a very good point!
All I know is that I finally got Mammon to give me back my money, so I couldn't ask for a better outcome. Epic win for Leviathan!
Epic win for Leviathan!
Epic win for Leviathan! I lose it every time he opens his stupid mouth. I may be a shut-in, but at least I wasn't shut down!
I hate it. I hate it so much.
So many conversations with this idiot were constantly sending me, and I was genuinely quite affectionate for him. I like him.
I love Leviathan. So Mammon was the one I went for because, you know, et cetera, what we talked about. But I have Leviathan also as my background, and I also talk to him a lot because he's funny. He just says shit.
He says so much shit. And it's so stupid every time.
The writing in this game is better than what I expected.
It's much better than I expected. The production quality and the writing kind of sent me.
Yeah, but there's no... It's all very good for funny dialogue.
Yeah, it is very good for funny dialogue. There was no real emotional moment as far as I got into the game, because, God, how awful would that be?
No, I mean, the closest you get is that there's this weird-ass scene, and I should have brought this up when I talked about Mayhem, because I'm farther in the story than you are, because I wanted to see the story, is, he has this scene where he's kind of opening up to you, but I knew it was hollow, because he doesn't have a fucking route, so it doesn't matter. Where you get hurt, you almost get hurt by, Leviathan, because he gets mad at you, because you know more about his series than he does. And... you have a moment with Mammon where he says shit like, next time you get in trouble, I'll be there to save you or whatever. Don't let the other ones do it. I'll be the one. And it's like, okay, bud, okay, reel it in.
Alright,
reel it in.
Alright, pal.
That's the closest you get, is him kind of being like, I'm the one. I'm your one. Like, I'm your one.
I'm your guy, alright? Don't pick anyone else. The game won't let you pick anyone else.
You can't pick anybody anyway. Do we want to get into... I wrote out the different things to do in the app. Do we want to also go through those?
Please, because it is insane. I do want to apologize in advance for any diehard Obey Me fans who are expecting in-depth analysis.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. I understand why people like the game.
I do very much understand it. There's a lot to do in the game, such as...
But it's not for me. But yeah, such as... phone. You have phone calls, which is like a new feature. This game's pretty new.
Yeah, it's very new.
The phone calls glitch my phone every time.
I can do the phone calls. I don't get it.
They add very little.
They don't add a lot for me. I get that the appeal is you hear some voice acting of a cute anime boy going like, come to my room and eat some pizza with me. But like, come on, man.
Come on. And also I just feel like I understand it's not like a bad thing, whatever, to voice act this game. But also, I just can't imagine voice acting some of the lines in the game.
Oh no.
I just feel bad. But every time I open up the phone and I'm opening up the app, that's the first thing I click on is like the phone if I have a message. The app will just glitch and I cannot like answer the questions they ask me on the phone. I have to close the whole app and then wait 12 minutes or so for it to open back up again.
Honestly, it's just the app. Now, for context, Milo has an older phone than I do.
Yes.
My phone is a little bit newer, so I can do a lot of these things without problem, but imagining being Milo sometimes when I was doing things in this game.
Oh my god.
Was...
Nellsie! My phone got so hot.
Just got a burning brick.
I had to plug it in to play the game. Every time I played the game, I had to make sure my phone was plugged in. You don't understand. Okay, you're so right. It made my phone so hot and so warm, and it took me forever to do anything. Moving between screens was like a cardinal year. Okay, the next one is the text messages.
Text messages are long, and I didn't like them. I didn't like the text messages.
They're the biggest notif for the game.
I like the text messages in terms of, like, they are essentially character builders. You know...
Too many.
You get charming moments with the characters that are supposed to tell you more about them. But I specifically put a point in my notes to talk about this. So I was having a week, and I did not log into the game for 3 days. I opened the game, I saw 36 text messages, and I closed it immediately.
And y'all, like, viewers at home, that is just 3 days!
That's 3 days. It's 3 days. That's 12 messages a day, and they're not like one and done text messages, they're group chats, they're text messages, they're stupid messages.
The group chat messages, or any of the messages that have 2 parts to them, like if you get a part of the text and then like the part 1 of the conversation in the morning and then part 2 in the afternoon, if you don't do them and then you get both, you have to leave the whole conversation and then come back to start the second part of it. And whenever I open my app, because I also had 36, even though I had been playing the app a bit, I just didn't check my text messages. When you're trying to get rid of 36 messages, and to answer one, you have to go out, come back in, listen to them talk about bullshit for 10 minutes, leave, come back in.
It's too much, man.
And they're nothing. It's nothing! The app, speaking of the text message stuff, the app has what I'd like to call a notification problem.
So many notifications constantly, and they're embarrassing notifications. Listen, we work on a podcast for talking about visual novels. We're pretty proud of it, I'd say. We're not super embarrassed about it. But boy, oh boy, otome games on the phone have a specific genre of embarrassment that it's like, how am I supposed to recover when this app puts on the voice of an anime boy to tell me to check in on his brother raiding the fridge?
I hate it! Does it actually have, like voice lines with it?
Yeah, the notification sounds are voice lines.
No! I didn't know that!
I would be awake at 2 a.m. because we're currently quarantined for coronavirus and I'm not living like a human being. And I would be awake and I would hear the sound of an anime boy almost waking up my sister.
Oh my god.
And I
don't have sound on. I didn't know that they had fucking talk to them.
I know. It's just so insane. I hated every second of it. I would get notifications and they would talk and they would say things and there was so many notifications constantly.
It's like a curse. It's like they're cursing you.
They were cursing me specifically. They were cursing me personally. And it was insane to me that this, happened and was real.
Mine is that I would send my boyfriend Don a picture of one of the notifications. A lot of them are just text messages because I don't know if it's just because the app is new, but they have text messages every fucking day.
Text messages up the wazoo, man. You can't...
And there's 6 a day.
Can't do anything in this game without a new text message, and it's never anything important. It's never a text message that matters.
Absolutely not, because I cleaned them out. I cleaned out the 36 last night, and I woke up this morning, and before we record this podcast, which, for reference, everybody, we record the podcast at 2, I had gotten 6 text messages.
It's
why?
It's far too much. I apologize for mild background noise. I moved back into a quieter room. I thought I did. Give me 1 second. Pause your Audacity recording. Let me see what I can do.
You hear me, viewers? I'm speaking right in your ear. It's just me. It's just me and obey me. I'm speaking anime boy lines into your ear for your notifs. Isn't that scary? Visual novel, gothic horror? Aren't you scared? I don't know why I'm trying to scare the viewers with this fun moment.
You trying to scare them? You know, my moments are to enrich their lives, Milo.
Okay. But what I was talking about with the notifs, let me find it again, because I distracted doing that bit.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
I know, it was me doing the bit. It's not your fault. Okay. So, I had sent a screenshot to Dawn, and because I thought it was funny, and I'm just gonna read it to you, and I'm going to say when they were in his emoji, because there's a lot of them. Okay. Kurusu tips how to earn Grim. Money bag emoji, money bag emoji, money bag emoji. You will need Grim and the Devil Dumb money bag emoji, so you don't forget to use jobs. Pig emoji to easily earn some cash. Make those demons demon emoji work and cash in on their earnings. ... They really have an app for everything these days. Shocked face.
I'm going to slam my head into the wall. The way they talk to me is so...
It's 16 to 12 different notifs a day. For nothing.
For what? What are they trying to tell me?
Okay. But to go on, and then we'll probably talk about this a little bit more as we go on, but to continue with the stuff that you can do in the app, there's Majolish, which is where you can put the person on your background screen. You can change their outfits. And then there is Mail, which is just where they give you updates. Then there is Accuzon, which is just Amazon. And this is where we get into an interesting part, which I want to talk about the monetization of this game. the start of this game is what I'd like to start. I think a trend is we're going to see a lot in visual novels, which is, this is just a glorified gambling machine.
It is glorified gambling. It's the loot box system from Overwatch.
Yes, it has a gacha game in it, and it also has, if you want to get good with the people, if you want to have an increased, like, person affection level, you gotta have items. But to have items...
You gotta go to Akuzon.
You gotta go to Akuzon, and if you don't have enough of them, then you can just play the mini games over and over again, or... Don't you want to slip a little bit of money?
Don't you want to slip a little bit of money here? You paid. We saw that you paid $12 on that other anime game. Maybe you just give us a little bit of money.
But the big difference is the other fucking anime game, the $12 was us in several small installments. Obey Me will be like, do you want to pay $20 for something? And I'm like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about and why? It'll ask me if I want to pay $20. It offered us that package in the beginning that was like $50 and they were like, this is a deal.
Yes! This is a steal! And I'm like, what the fuck? That is so much money for an app.
So much money for an app. And it was insane to me. And they're like, you only got 48 hours to do this. It's so vaguely sinister.
It is, and like, I'm looking at Akuzon right now, there's the Devil Points, there's also a VIP, which is where you can pay $10 monthly to Obey Me. And it's so expensive, and like, whenever we bought stuff in Miss Me, we did that with grief in our hearts, of course, but it was like, we knew what we were getting. With this shit, it feels so much like it's just an endless cycle forever.
It is, yeah. And I don't want to make it seem like this is a comparison to Mystic Messenger, because it isn't. They're different games, they're accomplishing different things, and also this isn't an Otome game. But...
No.
The game itself just doesn't have shame about the fact that it's asking you for money constantly. There are 3 different forms of game currency.
Yes, and it's like proud of it.
It's so proud that it wants you to spend $50 on these boys.
There's 3 different kinds of game currency, and it makes me, okay. Game design fucking major out here on my piece. Okay, but the next one is the job.
Our resident expert.
Yeah, I'm an expert on how much, and also I have an addictive personality. I'll be honest with y'all. You know, it's not hard for me. I don't play gacha games because I will specifically spend money on them. Because they're easy for me to fucking fall into. So this game is sort of like putting a lit flame on top of the kerosene that is my body, and then I have to stare at it in disdain as it like chars me to bits.
You have so many issues and so many problems.
I didn't spend money on the game, I should say. I never did because I was too upset and angry at the game out of spite.
Milo had such hatred for these games, for these people.
I don't like games that have fucking 3 currencies and want you to spend $1 billion money. It comes up to me hat in hand to say, do you want to spend $50? No! I don't. Okay.
It's too much. It's too much going on there, and I'm never really... So when we entered the game, they gave us, like, an inordinate amount of currency.
Yeah.
It is, like, an insane amount of currency. And you lose it, and you can burn it really quickly depending on what you do. But it's also like, what is happening here? What is the market inflation on Obey Me?
Yeah, because I feel like I didn't really have to, like, fight to get stuff too much. Except for, like, cards and etc. and stuff. But they give you an inflated amount of currency, and it feels like it's trying to really keep you around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It is. So, I do want to swerve back to... I'm thinking about games that we put in as a reference to Obey Me. And I think we're ignoring the elephant in the room, because we talked about Mystic Messenger in terms of the phone calls and text messages. But I'm gonna be the one to say it. The game reminded me of Honey Pop.
This is a bold move. This is a bold move, Nellsie.
I know. The game reminded me of Honey Pop, which I have played. And it is not bad because of it, but I will say that if you're going to use Honey Pop as your control, your reference point, if you will, then there is much more focus in Honey Pop. There's such an endless amount of content in Obey Me that I genuinely think if I were ever to reach the end of it, the monkey's paw would curl, and suddenly Obey Me 2 would be advertised to me on Instagram.
Yeah, because I don't think there is an end to Obey Me. In the sense of, like, I don't think they'll, even if there is, so they release an ending, I don't think it'll be the end of Obey Me.
I'm telling you, Obey Me 2, Shall We Date is going to come out, and then you and I are going to be doing a sequel episode, and we'll have to respond to the YouTube comments from people who really love Obey Me, telling us that we just aren't giving Asmo a chance, and then
He's horny, I'm sorry, I can't vibe.
I could vibe, I just wish I knew anything about him in the several chapters I did. The several chapters I didn't learn one thing about this man, or Satan, or Belphegor.
I did, but it was nothing. And I just, yeah, like, I'm surprised. I'm very bold of you to compare it to Honey Pop. I wasn't gonna bring it up because I didn't want to put you on the spot for your love of puzzles.
You don't want to put me on blast?
Yeah, for your love of puzzles. Nelsie's the only person who plays Honey Pop for the puzzles that I've ever met.
I do play it for the puzzles. I want to be so clear about this. I play it for the puzzles.
That sounds like a joke, but no. Nelsie says it more and more, and it hit me in waves, and no. Nelsie does play Honey Pop for the puzzles.
It's fun, it's bejeweled, it's snappy bejeweled with some rules that I understand really well, and I don't.
Okay, but it is a good comparison to make because I think that there's fundamental differences between the two. Like, for example, Honey Pop is like...
There are no microtransactions in Honey Pop.
There's no microtransactions. And then I think it's almost like, the thing is with Honey Pop is that Honey Pop is a self-contained thing, like you were talking about. Whereas I feel like Obey Me is set up to specifically get people to, like, fall into this sort of, it's pretty anime boys, spend all your time here.
Yeah, especially with the way it's advertised on Instagram, which it is advertised on Instagram, that's how we know about it.
Yeah, the YouTube ads, I get a lot of those.
The way it's advertised, you're led to believe that it is an otome game, and to some extent it is like a dating sim. Like, you're encouraged to pick out your favorite boy and get closer to him and spend all your money on content related to him. But my cat is running very loudly. Okay. But I also feel like you're encouraged to do that, but specifically, and I haven't completed the game, so I guess I'm no expert on this, but it seems like they're kind of holding him in arm's reach of you.
100%. It feels like you can never get close enough, and you're just hoping that you'll be able to get another scene with your favorite boy.
Your favorite boy is waiting for you just behind one of these 3 doors.
Yeah, I need these 3 long-ass dancing minigames. And it's just, I don't, like, whenever I first play the game, I got so pissed about this, because whenever I play these games, these apps, I want them to be self-contained. And Obey Me is 100% feels like it is trying to have a longevity with nothing behind it.
Yeah, definitely. The game is meant to be in this long form so that you are, one, incentivized to complete all the story modes, of which there are, I believe, 22 chapters.
Yes.
Once you complete the 22 chapters, you go back into the hard mode to grind out levels. Maybe you also have to do extra story modes in addition to that, because sometimes it'll open a branch in the hard modes. Once you complete the branches in the hard modes, you might want to go back to past story modes to do those dialogue options you never did, just to see what they'll say, you know? And then while you're there, you might as well spend a bit of money so you can get more anime boys, so that you can comprise a better team, so that you can go back to the ones you got 1 and 2 stars on, and you can get 3 stars because you're me and you're insane.
And then there's not even, like, they're also still releasing new lessons as we speak.
They're releasing so many, and the game is so new. I do think it would be interesting to revisit Obey Me. Maybe sometime in, like, far future.
Yes, because I think that there is a lot that can be improved about the game. And my brain dimly thinks, well, maybe they're going to release, like, different routes.
Yeah, certainly. Like, I've seen the notifications they give you in the mail tab, and they always give you a gift with every update. It's very sweet. I feel the passion behind the team that's working on the game, you know?
Yes.
You can certainly tell that there is a passionate team working on this game that care about these boys and your money a lot.
Yeah, they really, about your money. But the business model for me, there's nothing.
There's nothing here. This one is gonna be a wash for me and Milo, but I would encourage you, if you've seen the Instagram ads and you're like, ooh, I wanna date a sexy white boy, and I'm kidding, alright? There are 2 brown people, okay?
Oh, yeah, and one of them's Mammon. I wanted to touch on that. Does that seem sus to you?
I will tell you. Now, there is something troubling to me about the fact that Mammon is the one brown person, and he's also money-obsessed and everyone hates him, followed by Solomon, who is an angel and is super hot, but is also distinctly underdressed.
Yes, distinctly the most, like, underdressed of the cast, and is also, he's like...
His name is not Solomon, that's the wrong name.
Solomon's the... God, there's too many.
Solomon's the human man that we didn't understand.
Yeah, we didn't understand, it was weird. Yeah, whatever the guy's name was, he had the chihuahua, or whatever. They called him a chihuahua.
Yeah, he was an angel boy. He was the hottest one. I liked him.
Yeah, it seems sus to me, especially with Mammon.
It's a little bit. It sets off some red flags, but as always, like, when you go into dating sims, you have to look at it through this lens of relativity, because they're all kind of off in certain aspects.
True, yeah. I was just wondering about that, because it just seems a bit sus to me.
Little bit suspect, but, we'll let it go.
Do we want to go through real quick the rest of the stuff that's in the app?
Sure. Tell us about the rest of the stuff.
There's the jobs, which is how you get one of the currencies, which takes an hour to 2 hours, again, keeping you coming back.
Yes.
There's Devilgram, which is Instagram. They have pictures, and that is how you can get cards. You can get cards if you fucking do a bunch of stuff in there, but it's, again, a lot of content. Then there's To Do, which is just, like, it gives you daily things to do. Daily.
Yeah.
Schedule, which is...
And with To Do, it gives you rewards that you may or may not want. It gives you glow sticks for certain boys, which help you in the dancing game, etc.
Yeah. Schedule, which is just events. There's, like, 2 events. And there's your contacts, which there's... The contacts is also where you go in there to level up your cards. Because, again, the dancing games, you have teams, which are the cards. And there's also a thing in the contacts, which is, like, you can talk to other players. Not talk. You can befriend. You can, like, friend other players, and then they can send you things.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Anyway, Nightmare, which is the gacha.
That's the gacha one. There are three subcategories of Nightmare, where it's called, I believe, like, there's Class A, Class C, and Class M, or something like that.
Something like that. There's, like, different chapters. Nightmare that gives you can have 1 free spin if you wait like 12 hours. And then your tasks, which is where the dancing games are, sort of run through all the different shit in the game. But to sort of go into our closing type theories, not theories, feelings.
So my closing feelings on the game are that it was overwhelming. It's definitely not the sort of dating sim that's for me, because I like to have a dating sim in my dating sim.
I would like if a dating sim had dating sims
that would be the best thing for me, personally. Now, I don't mean to say that it's a requirement, but... Yeah, I definitely do know people in my life who I think would really get a kick out of it, though I'd recommend them against the gambling.
Yeah, against the gambling aspect.
I had a good time talking about it with you. I think playing these sorts of games with a friend is always going to yield more entertainment out of it. Mm-hmm. I wish there were less notifications.
I'm gonna... Nellsie, you know that I don't like this game.
I know.
I'm trying to be nice about it.
The moment you saw the dancing game, I knew it was not going to be Milo's favorite.
We were on call whenever that happened, and I remember I saw that shit, and I got real quiet, and I was just upset. I was so upset.
Hatred.
I was so upset. I remember, like, out loud going, "What is this? What is this game?"
Yeah, and I remember being there. It was the happiest moment of my life.
I'm gonna say it. It's gonna be a running theme in the podcast that Milo is a traditionalist. When you add new shit to the dating sim, when I see a dating sim app, I want it to be a dating sim. I want there to be routes, I want there to be options, I want there to be endings. This game has nothing. The story modes are fucking 5 lines, and then I have to do a dancing game, and I can't vibe with it. I understand how people can like it, but when you're me, and you go in there, and you go, I see all these fucking anime boys, when can I date them? And the dating sim, and you can't!
If you are me, and you get a kick out of, like, puzzle-type games, or not even puzzle-type games, but games that give you a certain challenge, and you get a kick out of perfectionism regarding those things. You may enjoy the game a little bit more. But I will say...
No! No! Just no! I hate the game! The puzzles take they're like 15 seconds. I have to sit there and...
It also bears...
tap on my little fingers!
We say I enjoyed it more because I like puzzle games. It's not a puzzle. I will be clear about that.
No! It is, you sit there and you go on your screen until it is done and you raise the bar enough. And it's like 15 seconds, and they introduced a skip mode, and I was like, fuck yeah, skip mode. But you have to be a high level to do it. So I'm sitting there grinding so I can skip the battles. It's an endless cycle. I fucking hate it. And then they go into these cutscenes, and they're like, did you remember the thing that happened 2 dancing games ago? No! I don't!
Yeah, it's quite a lot. It's quite a lot. I would personally give the game a C+. The whole game. I can't rate the individual boys, except for Leviathan. He gets
No,
an A.
you can't, because they don't have routes! They don't have routes! Okay. The gacha elements in this game... I get all these goddamn cards. I put them together. I go, I want to level up with this boy, so I'm gonna play the dancing game. And then I play the dancing fucking game, and I get a surprise guest, and it's random! It is 100% random, based on the 3 cards you have, and I'm trying to level up Leviathan, because I think he's funny, and I want to be with Nellsie, because Nelsie's my friend. So I'm trying to level up, and I keep getting fucking Mammon, and I just give him nothing. I pet his fucking head and I go, leave, get out of here.
Go, get away from me, boy.
And he leaves, and I go, I like you, but you need to get out of here because I'm trying to level up this fucking anime boy that likes video games. And I have to play the dancing games to level up. The choices in the fucking sessions don't matter. They don't matter. I could if there was an option that said, fuck you guys, I'm leaving, I could press that and nothing would change.
Fuck you guys, I'm going, goodbye.
I could type in every text message option, no, I hate you. I could press the one that's the one they don't like every time, and it would change nothing. It would change absolutely nothing. I would not have a better level up with them. It is 100% this fucking clicky game, and I hate the clicky game. I hate it.
I feel like you've taken this podcast hostage and you want your time back from Oh Baby.
I do! Now see, you were way less far than I was. I stood up all night whenever that Cinderella fucking event happened, because I wanted to finish it. Because I was like, I gotta finish it for the podcast, it'd be interesting to talk about. And it wasn't! There was a footnote in this podcast! And I finished this fucking event, and I sit there all night fucking playing this event, and I go, that's nothing. This is time of my life that I'm not getting back. Those are seconds of my precious essence that I played pretending that I was Cinderella with these fucking anime boys. I despise it. I despise
Well, those were our thoughts on Obey Me.
I give the game a C.
And that is going to be our final grade. It's got a C+ and a C.
It's only a C because I'm sure people like it.
I've seen people like it on Tumblr.com. I am going to quickly make a footnote here. We did not discuss beforehand what game we wanted to move on with, but I think it would be good for us to have something more fun that we establishly have a positive opinion on. So I'm going to personally nominate Monster Prom for next week's coverage.
I would, yes. Can we have Monster Prom? I would rather have Monster Prom. Oh my god, Monster Prom is gonna ask me if I can pay it $40 so I can play one extra round of the game.
Yeah. So we're gonna be playing Monster Prom for next podcast. We are going to enjoy it. That's gonna be the advance on it.
Yes. There will not be a moment where I bubble over like a cauldron.
Where Milo takes the podcast at gunpoint.
Yes, I will not, where I'm fucking angry about it. I will be good. I enjoy Monster Prom. This is the satiating Milo episode. Alright, well, we'll see you on next episode of DigiDate. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. Don't have gotcha elements in your video games anymore. God damn it.